Ethan, and today we're going to talk about the Code and Fix software development lifecycle tool and how we can use this tool in Android Studio. So what is the Code and Fix SDLC? So all the Code and Fix is a way that we can use to develop applications. It's one of the easiest ways to start developing code, as it doesn't require much specification or design. So there's no real design process that goes into Code and Fix. It's just we have an idea and start coding immediately. So we start our project, fix the problems until the client's satisfied, and then we deliver the final product. It works really, really well for smaller projects. There's not as much complexity going on, so it's a lot easier to manage when you have problems arise. It's a lot easier to fix those problems. However, as the project grows and becomes larger, those same problems can build up, and it can take a long time to debug, and it can become quite costly to develop using this SDLC. So as I said before, we're going to be using Android Studio to show how to use the Code and Fix SDLC. Now, what is the purpose of Android Studio? Well, it's used to develop applications that run on the Android operating system, such as like a Samsung phone or any other Android phone. It provides Android developers with the tools necessary to build Android applications efficiently. And it allows developers to easily test applications on multiple virtual devices. So what are some of the features of Android Studio, and how do those features allow us to use the Code and Fix SDLC? Well, one of those features is Android Studio sets up a lot of things necessary to have a functioning application so that we can start coding immediately and have a functional application shortly after we start programming. As we see, the ways we do that in Android Studio is we pick a format, like if you want to develop on an Android for an Android phone, just click here and it will set us up to start programming immediately. Another feature that allows us to use the SDLC Code and Fix is the drag and drop UI builder. And that allows us to develop on an actual Android device where we can click and drag different objects around to build a UI that the user will see. And finally, the last feature is the Android emulator, which is just a virtual Android device. In this case, here's an Android phone. And it allows us to run our applications after we program them, and it allows us to see errors or even things that are working great, which is in this case another reason that we can use the Code and Fix SDLC in Android Studio. Some of the inconsistencies, though, with Android Studio is that it also supports stage delivery, as it's very easy to produce a program and give it to the customer and then keep building upon that, as well as Android Studio requires a powerful processor and RAM in order to run smoothly. So if your computer doesn't have that, it can hinder using the Code and Fix SDLC, as it won't be as easy to just dive on in and start programming. Let's take a look at a real-world application in Android Studio. All right, here we are. So here we have a simple program that basically the user, there's one page, and the user clicks a button and it'll change the text from between hello world and computer science is fun. So as we were saying before, how does Android Studio allow us to use the Code and Fix SDLC? Well, here we have all the files necessary that are Android Studio already built for us so that we can start programming immediately. There are manifests, Rails scripts. Over here is our drag and drop UI, where we can start dropping elements into the screen here. And basically start moving things around and start developing a UI that can be functional within minutes. And finally, let's run this program. What we'll be able to do, we'll have our Android emulator pop up here. Here's our app, and when we click the button, computer science is fun, and then hello world. So these are just some of the ways that Android Studio supports the Code and Fix SDLC and how we can use this as a way to develop code. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.